It's the Go Gopher Podcast with Mike Grimm, episode number 213. I am Mike Grimm, voice of the Golden Gophers, and welcome back to the podcast. We're talking what else? Gopher women's basketball for a second straight week, and why not? Minnesota's off to the Sweet 16 in Sacramento. This is the first Sweet 16 bid for the Golden Gophers since 2005, and they'll face UCLA on Friday night at 6:30 Minnesota time. My guest this week is sophomore guard Tori McKinney. She's the team's leading scorer. She's one of the top defenders in the Big Ten, and she has a major impact on every Minnesota game. This will be her first visit on the Go Gopher Podcast, and we know you'll enjoy the visit. Our Go Gopher Podcast is presented by alumni-owned Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're a business founder planning to exit your business, start by contacting Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. Sunbelt serves more businesses up to $5 million in revenue than anyone, and True North M&A serves companies with revenues up to $150 million. Get a confidential, no-cost, no-obligation business valuation started today. Hey, make the most of your life's work. Visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com today. Longtime Gopher sports supporter Cub is a proud sponsor of the Go Gopher Podcast with Mike Grimm. In a hurry, don't worry, Cub delivers. Get fresh meat, produce, everyday essentials, and more delivered to your door. Cub is the official grocer of the Golden Gophers and proud to support Gopher athletics for over 20 years. Shop happy. The Go Gopher Podcast is also presented by OnX Maps. Find out how to download the OnX Hunt app for free by listening to the Go Gopher Podcast. We're podcasting episode 213 from the Aquarius Home Services studio. We also want to thank Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union for their support of Golden Gopher student athletes. They've supplied a gift card to Tori McKinney for this week's appearance on the Go Gopher Podcast. Thank you, Affinity Plus, for your great support of Gopher sports. We invite you to subscribe to the Go Gopher Podcast. You can also follow. It's free to do so. You can go back and listen to previous Go Gopher podcast. Last episode, for example, we had Gopher guard Mara Braun on to preview last week's big festivities, and she came up big in both games. This week, we're talking Golden Gopher women's basketball yet again, the Sweet 16 edition. Sophomore guard Tori McKinney of Minnetonka will join me next.
Hey Gopher fans, Jalen Crocker-Johnson here from Minnesota men's basketball. In basketball, wins come from preparation, trust, and executing when it matters the most. That's how True North Mergers and Acquisitions approaches selling your businesses. True North M&A is a local alumni-owned company and a proud sponsor of Gopher Athletics, helping businesses of all sizes make winning moves. Thinking about selling? True North's M&A helps maximize your life's work and close strong in crunch time. Visit tnma.com for confidential conversation.
This is Jim Suhan for TSR Injury Law, 612-TSR time. TSR Injury Law started off as a small business. They are now a large, very successful business because they help people, because they win cases. If you are injured, call 612-TSR time. They will help you out or point you in the right direction. They will not charge you unless they win your case, and they win a lot of cases. We don't want you to need their help. They don't want you to need their help. But if you do need their help, call 612-TSR time.
It's episode 213, the Go Gopher Podcast. For the second week in a row, we're talking Gopher women's basketball. We had Mara Braun on last week to preview the home games of the NCAA tournament, and that turned out okay. She had a pretty good weekend. Gophers on to the Sweet 16. That is Friday in Sacramento. It starts, and Tori McKinney, leading scorer on this Gopher team, is our guest this week. Tori, good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Well, how much fun are you having right now?
So much fun. It's like the best time of the year right now, so I love it.
One of the things I asked Mara about, and obviously she has gone through a journey that's included some injuries that you're trying to persevere through and all of that. In watching you guys play, she smiles a lot. You smile a lot. There seems to be some joy with this team in terms of how you guys play. Do you find joy in what you guys are doing?
I mean, yeah, I think that's been a big thing of our team, especially since we've hit postseason, is just like we're taking in every opportunity and every moment with each other. So it's like, why not have fun out there, and why not just like be smiling? And like a lot of us are pretty big believers in faith too. So it's like the joy that God's given us to do something that we love. And it's like, it's kind of like that idea that like you have like a plate necessarily, and God's not just like of food on that plate, but he's the one holding your plate. And so he's giving us the opportunity to play basketball. So why not play with so much joy and like reflect that onto him as well?
Yeah, and when you have that combo, right? And Mara talked a little about it in terms of trying to walk that balance between, having fun, but also this is a cutthroat, highly competitive situation if you're trying to win games. So how do you maneuver that on one hand, hey, we want to have fun. On another, you may have to go, block a shot on somebody and be pretty physical and vicious about it.
I think what's really special about this team is we all have like that competitive nature within us. So obviously when we're on the court, we know that like we need to turn it on right there. And like that's where we need to start competing and everything like that. But at the same time, I think Minnesota is so great because we're surrounded by the people that like we want to be surrounded by. So it's honestly a lot easier balance than you'd think because you're surrounded by like the best people in the world. So like you can play with that joy and like excitement, but at the end of the day, you're still there to do something. Like you're still there to make an impact, to make it to the Sweet 16. And like, yeah, so honestly, I don't find it that hard because I love playing basketball, but it's like it lets my competitive like juices and spirits just like go and be free.
Yeah, I mean, in essence, right? Sometimes the joy of playing feeds the competitive nature of it, so it all kind of rolls into one outcome, right? All right, so you win 2 games, both tight games, both big fourth quarters for you guys, and that has kind of become a theme a little bit just in regard to you guys have been able to make clutch plays. You had that 9-game winning streak near the end of the season and lots of shot-making key times in those games. So what do you think it is about this team that has allowed you to, both you personally and as a team, make clutch plays when crunch time hits?
I think it's just our resiliency at this point. I mean, everyone wants to keep playing, and that's from like everyone within our program too. Like our coaches obviously want to keep coaching, our players want to keep playing, and like everyone in between wants us to like keep going. So it's like our resiliency to just keep going. And like, yes, we face adversity. Like we're down 10 or something going into fourth quarter, we're down 8 or we're down 4, or maybe we're up 12, but it's still like that will to win and that resiliency to never give up until the final buzzer.
So we'll go back to the Green Bay game to start on Friday, and it was just one of those games where the shot wasn't falling for a number of you for a certain amount. You got into foul trouble. That certainly impacted part of the game, and then 30-9 in the fourth quarter, and so you just answered part of it in terms of the perseverance. What was the mentality though? Like as you're in that huddle between the third and the fourth quarter, and maybe you look up at the scoreboard, this is not where we thought we'd be. Yeah. I mean, obviously you're not overlooking anybody, but you're figuring, okay, we feel good about this game. So what's the mentality at that point of that game on Friday?
Yeah, I think emotions were definitely high. So by the time the fourth quarter rolled around, we definitely settled in a little bit more. And I think one thing that Coach P always preaches is stay in the precious present. So it's like, yes, not everything's necessarily going our way, but we're at the barn right now. We're playing on our home court in front of over 10,000 fans, I think, were there on Friday and then again on Sunday. So it's like just be in the moment and stick together. We always talk about like in our huddles, especially when it's just like us 5, like the people on the court, that it's like we're like the best group to be out there like at that moment. And then if someone new comes in, we're going to say it again. And so it's like just relying on each other, but also like just like being in the moment. And it's like we'll figure it out eventually. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Part of the key was obviously 30 points in a quarter is nice, but allowing 9, you got, I don't know how many straight stops to start that quarter. I mean, I think they had a free throw at one point, and that was about it for a while. I'll with you sitting here, I'll say part of that was you getting back into the game, right? You had to sit with foul trouble. I'm sure that was frustrating, which I'll ask you about that. But did you have any special mindset to say, all right, we need stops. I'm on the all Big Ten defensive team. I'm going to try to lead something on that end of the floor here too, because I do think that the game switched when you got back on the floor.
Well, thank you. But I don't even remember. I think it was honestly Amaya. She like cracked a joke going into the fourth quarter, and like we were all like, okay, like we're going to win this game. Like no matter the score, like I don't know what it was, but it was that. And then it's also just like, kind of going back to like the resiliency and like competitiveness. It's like, yes, not necessarily our shots aren't falling or we're maybe not hitting like the easy ones, but one thing you can always put forth is like your defense. And I think we talk about that a lot. Like it's really emphasized that like maybe your shots aren't falling. Maybe, I don't even know. Like you can't jump off a ship and hit water, if that's even what the quote is. I don't remember. But it's like you always can get a stop. Like you always can put forth the effort at least to try and get one. And I think that was just where it kind of sparked, is like I don't know, my foul trouble, like, I don't know. It really was like another story.
Yeah.
But so I was like, okay, I'm finally back in the game. Like, what can I do that I know that I can do to help my team? And that was just like getting stops, staying down on defense, and staying in the game, honestly.
And from that standpoint, and I know you have faith in your teammates when you're not in to play, but when you're sitting there and watching and you're looking up at the scoreboard and then you're stuck, right? What is that emotion like? You turn into cheerleader a little bit, try not to get too depressed that you're not in there?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something I've worked on, especially this season. I think it's honestly probably been one of the easier seasons to support my teammates when I'm not in the game. I think that's just because of the people, again, that I'm surrounded by. I mean, our other girls that are on the bench, every time I walk down and like high five all of them, they all have something to say and just like keep your head in the game, like you're gonna come back, and all the coaches say the same thing. So it's just like that reassurance. And then I have like nothing but love for all the girls in the court. So if that's what my team needs from me, because I put myself in a difficult decision or difficult situation, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to support each and every one of them to the best of my ability, being the first one out on the court to high five them before the timeouts and stuff like that. But the thing I love most is honestly playing with them. So yeah, that's what I love to do.
As a high-level defender, we mentioned you were on one of the All Big Ten all-defensive teams. I mean, obviously that has been recognized. What is that line of you want to get stops every time, but you don't want to get in foul trouble, right? And sometimes, depending on how aggressive you're going to play and how physical the game's allowed. So how much have you had to learn that here at the Big Ten level hey, I want to play tough, physical defense because that is part of my identity, but also I need to be on the floor. So I suppose at some point there's got to be a happy medium in the middle.
Yeah. I'm hoping one day it clicks sooner rather than later. It's definitely still a work in progress. I think this part of the season especially, I've struggled with it more than I think I did at the start of the season or throughout the season. But it's just like once I get a foul, it's like necessarily not like giving up, but like maybe let the next like cheap one go. Like stop reaching just for one possession and see what happens. Or like if I do get beat, then it's like just letting that one go instead of trying to be LeBron James and block the shot or something like that. So it's definitely something right now that I'm struggling with. I don't know why. I wish it would just click for me. But yeah, it's just like playing your hardest. But then if you think something's about to get called, just let it go and take a step back. And then because that will keep me out on the court and like helping my teammates as much as I can.
You mentioned the competitive nature of how you play. So I suppose that is counterintuitive to say I'm going to concede a basket or I'm going to let this player take the baseline because I can't get a foul, and if it, maybe somebody can help, or if it's a bucket, it's a bucket. The men, because they were down to 6 guys, they like that was a coaching point for them for a while. Is like you may have to give up a dunk, like we can't have you in a foul situation. We might be playing 4 guys here at some point. So I suppose the competitive nature, it's so counterintuitive to concede something, right? Whether it's a rebound or a shot attempt or what have you, but sometimes that might be the smart play.
Yeah, that's definitely the most challenging part because I want it so bad, but it's like it's learning to balance it. Yeah, it's not good. It's a work in progress. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's better probably to err on the side of over competitive than hey, we're just going to give up points every time down the floor, right? No doubt.
For sure.
So the Green Bay game, I think it switches when you go into the game to start the fourth, and it's 30-9 in that fourth, and you end up winning going away. And so now the celebration is on for a moment. You have to regroup. Now it's Ole Miss, and what a game Sunday, right? Again, out to like an 8-point lead. And look, college basketball is a game of runs, and they're pretty good on the other team too. So they go on a little run, and now you find yourselves down again. I think it was 8 to start the fourth quarter. Was it kind of like, hey, we were just here attitude going in? We know we can do this?
Yeah, G actually said that exact comment going into the fourth quarter. She was like, guys, we were just here on Friday. Maybe we're down by a little bit more, but we're literally in the same situation. And we just came together and we're like, yeah, like we can do it. We know we can do it. Why we wait sometimes is a little questionable, but, we have each other to rely on, and we just have the confidence in each other to win.
Yeah, and obviously, again, big shots. You got some stops. we'll talk about Amaya's shot obviously in a minute, but how about the charge she took? I thought that was kind of a game changer, right? I mean, it flipped everything. And then Mara hits, I mean, she's like weaving back and forth to get that open three. I mean, those are two huge plays.
I think, it's honestly just incredible, both of them. I mean, I don't know how much of like their story everyone knows, but I mean, they've stayed through it, like through the thick and thin, through the goods and bads. They have been the two most consistent players of just like being here from freshman year to senior year, Mars redshirt junior year. And I think the fact that they get to showcase their abilities on such a big stage right now is so incredible. And it's just like, you're just in so much awe of them. Like, it's honestly amazing what they've come through, and like them getting to be able to like hit some big shots and then taking a charge and then hit the game winner. It's just, I'm just so happy that like this is finally getting displayed for them.
Yeah, and the work that they put in when they were younger, right, that first year, they took a few, you were probably watching, right? They took a few lumps with, turnover issues. And it's hard as freshmen to win in this league if you're all freshmen, which they kind of were. And now, and then the injury journey that Mara's been on, and to see, you're right, to see this. And I can tell, we had Sophie Hart on this podcast a few weeks ago, and now she's part of that class. She's a senior, but she was a newcomer, after that as well. And the appreciation she had for those seniors. And I can see when you talk, you light up about, what you think of those senior leaders and what they've meant. Take me through kind of what they have meant to you.
I think, well, for Mara especially, I mean, obviously she got hurt last year, so my freshman year, and that was like a big loss. But I think, because then I was kind of like shoved into the mix and was like, here you go. Like, I mean, obviously this is what you dream of, but it's just like kind of an unfortunate situation. But she was probably the most supportive, like best person to have around at all times. I mean, she was like a coach, but it's almost easier to like take it from a teammate than an actual coach, because it's like, yeah, I'll listen to Mara like any day of the week. So it's just like honestly incredible, like her growth. And then I just know that every day of her injury, when she could finally get back in the gym, she was shooting constantly, like, or even like doing her rehab constantly, lifting constantly. She never took a day off. And I just think that it just shows on the court this year, especially like how much she means to this team. And she just brings like a lot more like peace on the team. And then Amaya, it's just like, she's literally my favorite player to ever exist. So just being able to like play alongside of her and just be like a small part in like her success and just like going along with her journey is just so incredible. And I think you're kind of getting to see like another side of her. Usually she's super just like calm, not necessarily like emotionless, but like she doesn't show a lot on her face. And now like she like gets up and is like screaming, like high-fiving her whole team. Like she's the one giving us pep talks. And I just think it's a testament to like her growth and just like how amazing she is as a person and a player.
McKinney and Braun join Graholski. Graholski to inbound. Get it into Amaya Battle. 15-foot baseline. Jumper is good! Out the buzzer for the Sweet 16!
If there's like a snapshot or a portrait that at some point in her life she's going to take and say, this is sums up my career, and hangs it on her wall, it's got to be her sitting down on the court with her arms outstretched after she hit that shot on Sunday. What a great, I don't know, somebody's had to have that picture somewhere. I'm
everywhere.
Sure Brad Rempel or somebody's got the actual copy of a good one. But you could just see the emotion when she, I mean, that's a tough shot, baseline jumper, hand in the face, and she nails it. And so where were you when she hit the shot? Obviously you're on the floor, but is that the way the play was designed?
Yeah. I mean, she's the first option coming off that screen. I was going to set a screen for Soph and then coming back to look for the ball. But I think, like, right as I turned my head, like, I saw Amaya take, like, her second dribble or something, and the shot was going up. And, I mean, Amaya's pull-up is, like, it's butter. Like, it's so good. It's, like, KD level good. Like, no one's stopping that, so it was going up. And then I was like whipping my head around. I didn't know what to look at, Amaya or the ball. And then she made it, and like her arms just go straight up in the air. And I don't know why that's like her go-to celebration, but if you like look closely, you can see it. Like one time she made like a wide open layup, and I think she might have been like struggling that game a little bit, and her arms went straight up in the air. Like that's her go-to celebration. And it's just like a such her thing. It's just like her. Like that's generally who she is like as a person. And it's honestly so incredible that she got to hit the shot. And then I've seen a couple pictures where like our whole team just like jumps on top of her and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope she's okay. But like she deserves all of it.
Oh, man. Yeah, and Grace, I think, because she was the closest, she gets over there first, and then the rest of you guys catch up. And then, of course, it's not over. They add, you think it's over, then they add time. So now you have to defend and sweat that out a little bit. So what was the message in that while they were reviewing the time? What were you telling each other at that point?
That was honestly just like, because we didn't necessarily know what was going to happen. And so we were kind of still joking. Like, if you look back at the play, like, I think it was Ty, one of our assistants. He was like shoving people off the court, and then I was like, wait, he's shoving people off the court. So there's one instance where I just like shove Nia off the court, and she almost goes like flying, like almost falls off our court, of course, because it's raised or whatnot. Yeah. But in the timeout, we were like, guys, like that literally just happened, and it's like, why let that happen? And then sometimes it's like we're on a high right now, so it was like super hard to like refocus ourselves. But I mean, obviously we figured it out. I mean, we got to stop at the other end, and then it was like, it almost didn't feel real that like we just actually won, because like you think that shot's like your winning shot, but then you have to play defense, and then they ended up missing their shot, and I didn't like think it was real. Like I thought maybe we were going to overtime or something. Like it didn't really process, but then everyone was like screaming and celebrating again, and I was like, oh my gosh, we actually just won. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah, and what a crowd as well. You mentioned, and you mentioned this in the locker room too, and I actually used that as part of some coverage we had earlier in the week, where you said your favorite player made your favorite shot. Yeah. And you've hit on it a little bit. What about Amaya makes her your favorite player?
Yeah, I think just like getting to know her as a person and a player, she's herself all the time. Like the way she talks, I don't know, if you go to Chick-fil-A with her or something, or have a steak night dinner with her, is the same way that she's going to like talk and treat you out on the court. And I think that's honestly a super hard thing to do, because some people like want to change themselves or like act differently when they have like an alter ego or something. But Amaya is just herself 24/7, and I think that's what makes her such a great player and such a great person, is she's not going to change for anyone, and she's just going to be true to herself all the time. Yeah,
she's so fun to watch, and she like there's been times in her career, last year part of the WBIT, the year before part of that WNIT run too, where she would just take games over, right? Yeah. I mean, she can go get you 30 if you need. Maybe Friday could be that day too, for sure. So the crowds, we got to talk about the crowd. You mentioned 10,000 plus both nights, almost 11,000 on Sunday. I'm bummed that I wasn't able to go. I had some other family commitment over the weekend out of town, but listened to Guardsy in the car both ways, so we were living and dying with every shot. And you could hear the crowd come through. And then you watch the video highlights, and someday I'm going to take time just to go rewatch at least those fourth quarters of both games. Is that the loudest crowd you've played in front of?
Yeah, that was insane. I didn't really, personally, when I'm playing, I don't really hear the crowd. But we were watching it back on film like yesterday, and Coach P finally let us listen with the audio on, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then we were watching like games like yesterday and Saturday, whatever, and we were like, our crowd was better. Like, we obviously can't really hear like through a screen like how good another like team's crowd was, but we were just like in astonishment of how like amazing, how much support we got. We were so thankful, obviously, but it was honestly incredible. Yeah, it was so amazing.
How much do you think that played a role in these fourth quarters too? Do you think it had? I mean, it must have had some impact on the outcome of the game.
Yes, I think. Oh my gosh, especially in the Ole Miss game, I'm pretty positive we were tied, and the crowd was like electric, like insanely loud. And I actually, especially on Sunday, that's when I kind of heard the crowd. I guess I lied a little bit before because I couldn't even hear Soph like yelling out like what a screen was coming, and that's like a shocker because Soph usually can get her voice up there pretty loud. But then I think we were tied, and the Ole Miss was on offense, and they got a shot clock violation because no one could hear like anyone counting down
their
the time.
Bench yelling or whatever. Yeah,
you could not hear it, and I couldn't even hear it. I don't even know if I heard the buzzer go off or something. I don't know how the play stopped, but yeah, the crowd played such a big part, and it's just like they also gave us the energy throughout the game. Like, we might not have played good the first 3 quarters, or like we had good runs, and like they were excited and like fueled the whole entire time, and that's just like, it's just another motivator to like keep going and like represent Minnesota.
Yeah, it was fun to listen and then to watch some of these highlights for sure. we mentioned this senior group when Sophie was on a few weeks ago. She talked about how you guys have grown together so much that because she has become a bigger factor. Paint touches are important for your offense, and either through her, even when she's double teamed, she's strong and physical enough to get shots up. She can shoot with both hands, all that stuff. But if the double team comes, she's also able to find you and others, to help the offense. But she said that this year she thinks that you guys have been making entry passes to her that kind of start the offense that maybe last year you wouldn't have made. And she, I think, it basically said it's just this togetherness, this bond. We know where we're going to be. She goes, they know where I'm going to be before I know where I'm going to be sometimes. Have you found that to be true as well?
Yeah, I think it's like we've just gotten so close to each other, and it's just like those genuine friendships that it's like we trust each other, like not only just like trusting each other with like, I don't know, random stuff off court, like, hey, who's going to give me a ride? Like trusting each other that someone's going to drive you somewhere or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's like on the court that it's like we have so much faith that we're going to pass it into Soph and come up with it. I don't remember what game it was necessarily, but I saw Soph had a mismatch down low, and I whipped that ball to her, and I yelled at her, and then she turned her head. Like, I passed it, yelled at her, and then she whipped her head, caught it, and I don't know. She scored. I know she scored. I don't know if she got an and one or anything like that, but I just knew she was going to catch my balls.
It's like a quarterback and a receiver. Yeah. You throw before the players in the break or whatever.
And I think that's just how much trust we have in one another, that we're going to come up with it, and if we don't, we're going to get it back eventually on defense, the next possession, whatever it's going to happen. And it's just like, yeah, we're so together. We trust each other so much.
And she had obviously the game tying shot with that great little move with the left hand. And part of that too, because in maybe previous years, turnovers have been an issue. You guys now are amongst the country's leaders and Big Ten leaders in keeping care of the ball. And maybe that is part of why those numbers are down, is that you guys are looking like you're all on the same page.
Yeah. We definitely do trust each other. That's probably one of the big things. Also in practice, you don't always have the best outcomes when you turn the ball over. So Coach P
it could be a learned trait as well, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. But she does emphasize, her and her coaching staff emphasize taking care of the ball. So it's like every possession matters, obviously on offense, because you want to get a shot off every time. But also on defense, like if you get a defensive stop, don't give the ball right back to them. Like maybe you just worked 25 of the 30-second shot clock. Like you want the ball in your hands. Like everyone wants the ball to score, to get a stop, to just do something good for this team. So yeah, taking care of the ball is definitely good for this program.
Excellent. Let me read a quick sponsor mention, then we'll come back. We'll talk more with Tori McKinney about the Sweet 16. Asking our listeners if you've ever driven past a piece of land and wondered who owns it, or maybe you need to know exactly where a property line starts and stops. Well, that's where OnX Hunt comes in. And it's not just for hunters. There are folks using OnX maps for their jobs every day throughout the country. Farmers and ranchers mapping out their fields, firefighters navigating through rough terrain, construction workers needing to know what the property line is, and the app offers something for everyone. If you need the best land ownership map, aerial imagery, and boundaries for properties in your pocket, go to OnX Hunt. It's the tool for the job. You can try it for free right now for 7 days. Download OnX Hunt in the app or Google Play Store and visit onxmaps.com/hunt to get started.
Know what happy is? Veggies. Crunchy, crispy, colorful, seasonal, aromatic, juicy veggies. Produce at its freshest. Cub produce. Best produce, period. Guaranteed to make you happy or will replace it. No questions asked. Because good produce makes veggie lovers happy. Just remember, fresh, happy. Stale, limp, and wilted, not happy. You want to make a veggie lover happy? Shop Cub for produce. And shop happy.
Hey Gopher fans, Bobby Durkin here from Minnesota men's basketball. In our program, championship culture is built on toughness, trust, and showing up every day to do the work. That's why I'm proud to support the True North family of companies. True North invests in elite teams, like the championship team at True North Mergers and Acquisitions, Minnesota's largest seller of companies. To learn more about True North and their family of independently owned companies, visit thetruenorthfamily.com. That's how champions are built.
Episode 213, Tori McKinney with us. Sweet 16 preview show Friday in Sacramento, 6:30 Minnesota time tip, Minnesota and UCLA. I'll get a little scouting report from Tori here in a minute. I have a really weird offshoot question, and there have been some of these first-round games, and maybe you guys had this too a little bit. The shooting percentages are down, and it was weird. I saw some speculation on social media that the basketball that the tournament uses is a different, I think it's Wilson, and maybe a lot of schools use Nike, Adidas, whatever. And some people are suggesting that the shooting woes from some of these games have been because it's a different ball. And I've heard that. Al Nolan, who does the games with me, he talked about it at the Big Ten tournament. Wisconsin used to use these weird balls, and teams would come in and shoot bricks. Now, the defense had something to do with it. So does it? Do you think there's something to it or no?
I think it's an adjustment. I mean, from what I know, every team gets to practice with basketballs, like the basketball that their opponent or the NCAA is going to play with necessarily.
Yeah.
I think, especially for our team, it's just like the emotions are so high right now. Like we haven't made it to the NCAA tournament in a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's just like that adjustment of like, I think especially against Green Bay, our shots were super long because like, we just had so much going into them and like so much energy and stuff like that. But, we'll settle in here. Yeah. Some people have, especially Mara, she's settled in nicely, I'd say. So yeah.
So it wasn't the ball. You're saying not gonna hang that as the excuse. All right. I just had to ask because I was, I've seen in previous years at the Big Ten tournament when they use a different ball. And then yesterday I just saw a bunch of different tweets because the shooting percentages apparently in some of these games were lower than what usually happens. All right, UCLA, you guys faced them early in the year. They're ranked second. They're good. A lot of people, if they're not picking UConn to win it, they're probably picking UCLA to win it all. So you've got a challenge. What do you remember from the first game, and what do the Gophers have to do on Friday?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we just have to show up. I mean, we have to have, again, like that confidence within our team to just know that like we're doing something special already, but it's like continuing that journey and just like making every moment count.
What they have one of the top players, Lauren Betts. What challenge does she present?
She's insane. She's an insanely good player. I mean, she has the height. She honestly has the speed. Like you don't always see like bigs move the way she does. It's honestly incredible. I think similar to Soph, like she can do it all. I think that'll be a great matchup between those two. I mean, they both can score down low. I mean, they're obviously both posts, so they know how to score down low. And I think they just have great passing ability, both of them, both Soph and Lauren Betts. So I'm excited to just be able to compete against them, see what happens, and hope for the best.
Yeah, and from a team mentality, how are you viewing? Obviously, it's Sweet 16. You go probably from celebration mode, like soak this in. This doesn't happen all the time. To now, we've got a game to get ready for, and if you win and pull the upset, now you want some fun. Now you really have fun. So how do you get into, from celebration mode? I'm sure it's easy enough, but now it's back into game prep, right?
Yeah, I think our whole team is just taking it in so well, but like also just like understanding like what's on the line. So I mean, yes, we've definitely celebrated like however we can, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like we're here to play basketball and we're here to like extend our season for as long as possible. So we're just like going out to compete. Like we know that like obviously we're going to Sacramento soon on Wednesday, I think, or something like that.
Tomorrow, we're recording right now Tuesday afternoon, so I think you guys take off tomorrow. Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I just think all of us know that like what we have to put in, like what effort, and like we have to give everything, honestly. So I think our team especially does a good job of balancing like, yes, we're celebrating, but yes, we want to win and we want to keep like just being able to like compete with one another like as long as possible whenever the opportunity presents itself.
Do you take anything from the first matchup that you guys can talk about and say, hey, here's what they did, here's how we got to, now that we've seen them? Does it help you a little bit that you've seen them, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's honestly incredible that, two Big Ten teams are going up against each other. So, I guess that could advantage both of us in some aspect, but I just think our coaches are going to do a great job regardless of like scouting them. Big Ten. We already played against them once, so maybe they're going to use some of that. Maybe they're going to use some of their new games. Who knows? I can't wait to see what they come up with. It's always fun. It's always a fun film session.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I think just getting another opportunity to play against UCLA, it's going to be exciting for sure.
Yeah, we had Grace Grholski on maybe a month or more ago. She talked about the game prep that she feels that you guys are so well prepared that there's not much that you're not aware of when you hit the floor. Do you find that to be the case as well when these coaches present to you, here's how we're going to play this game against this particular opponent?
Yeah, I think it's honestly insane. I mean, I don't personally want to know how much time our coaches spend on like film and finding information about these players because it would probably like hurt my head of how much sleep they got because I don't know if it's much. But yeah, I think they honestly do like the best job possible of just getting us information, like all the information they think we need. And then even during like your workouts, like you're working on stuff, yes, that's going to better you, but also maybe like better you for this game specifically. And like you're not really sure how you're going to use it, and then you're like, wow, I just used my move, so thanks, Chloe, or something like that, or like whoever you're working out with. So they do an incredible job. I mean, you always feel ready. It's just whether or not we execute it. So hopefully we can do that on Friday. So we'll see.
Absolutely. So the diehards that follow you guys, daily and come to all the games probably know your story or part of your story pretty well. But now, Sweet 16 team, this sometimes bandwagon casuals are coming on. They're jumping on. They want to take this. So tell us a little bit about your background in terms of when did you start playing basketball? When did you realize, I've got some skill here that can take me to some special places, maybe play at a Big Ten university, maybe play in a Sweet 16, and who knows beyond maybe. So kind of give us a little background on your basketball journey.
Yeah, I started playing basketball super young. I was always like that little sister that did everything her brother did. So I think he was like 6 or 7. So I was like, 4 or 5, maybe? Yeah, 3, 4, or 5. I don't know. Yeah. Sometime around there.
Pretty young.
Yeah, super young. And so he started playing. So then my mom just signed me up right alongside of him and would always be like, oh, yeah, she's 7, she's 8. Like I was always his age. And then I think that honestly helped me a lot because I mean, even at such a young age, I was always competing against like boys. And then obviously I was competing against my brother. And that's just like a battle you can never lose or else you're never going to hear the end of it. And then like if I lost especially, it would continue into like multiple days and like into bigger fights than you would expect. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's always just like that competitive spirit that I've always had. And then it's just like something I fell in love with, honestly, at such a young age. And I think one thing that I've grown to like appreciate more is as I've gotten older is it's always something I've been able to do with my brother. So even though when he went off to college, I mean, we're 2 years apart, so we've been super close like our whole lives. So even though he just went to St. Thomas, he still didn't necessarily come home or like he wasn't available. I didn't see him every single night like I had to in the past or I got to in the past. So then when he did come home and he would rebound for me or we would still go out on our driveway and like play one-on-one or just like play a game of pig. It's just that appreciation I grew even more just being able to spend that quality time with him. And so, but yeah, I definitely fell in love for the game and it hasn't. Yeah. I haven't stopped loving the game since.
So you, as a young player, were beating your older brother in basketball? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Whew, that had to be hard on him. Huh?
Yeah. I mean, it still happens today. So
you're still kicking his butt, huh? Yeah, very good. And I'm assuming he's been to some of these games and he's enjoying the ride, watching little sister do what she's doing?
Yeah. I could probably count on one hand how many games he's missed.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And you have some athletic background too, right? Your uncle, I think, played in the NFL. Your dad was a track athlete, right? So, so you've got some innate athletic ability that helps, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think honestly, obviously, that's super cool. Yeah, I don't even know. I think it's just like it's incredible because like they've done those experiences, and sometimes it's honestly hard because they're always trying to like coach you too, and so you're like, okay, back off. Like, you didn't go anywhere for basketball at the end of the day. Like, but also it's just like, it's credit to both my parents because they're both so willing, especially my mom. She like put me in every single sport when I was a kid. So she kind of like almost let me choose my own path in a sense. And it obviously came out to be basketball. But even when she was growing up, like she was in every single sport. She didn't play any in or in college. She definitely didn't play any college. I don't know what she did in high school.
Yeah.
But so she kind of did the same thing. And like, then I grew my love for the game for basketball. And then my dad, even at such a young age, I mean, he was making my brother and I go to the gym and like lift. And I was like this 13-year-old, like scrawny, like literally sticks and bones. Like you could find pictures and like I was really skinny. And he would make us lift and I'd be like, are you serious right now? Like I'm never gonna lift. Like this is my body. This is how I'm gonna make it. Like, are you kidding me right now? So it's just at that young age, like just getting the foundation. And I think that's really helped me, especially when I did get into high school and we actually did lift. I was like, I knew what I was capable of. And like, I always say like, I kind of knew the technique, which like gave me a step up or something. Cause like some people would be like, oh, I'm so sore. And then it would be like, oh, probably because you're not doing this necessarily correct. But I'd be like, oh, well, I know how to do it like my dad taught me. So it's honestly credit to both my parents for just getting me where I am at today.
So you mentioned that your mom signed you up for a bunch of stuff. So in addition to basketball, what sports did you play growing up, even all the way back to when you were really little?
Oh, everything, honestly. My aunt was a gymnastics coach, so I did gymnastics. That didn't last for too long, though. I played soccer. I really loved soccer. I did hockey for a little bit. I did track. I ended up doing track again. I did it when I was like in middle school, and then I stopped, and then I did it like my senior year of high school. That was such a good experience. I played tennis, me and my brother. I don't know how we started playing tennis, but we both played tennis, softball, basketball. Yeah.
Pretty much all then. Yeah.
I never did volleyball. And then technically I was never like a competitive swimmer, but my grandma used to like take us to like the pools, and then to tire us out, she'd be like, okay, I'm going to time you guys, or like you guys are going to race who can get to the end of the pool back to us like faster. And me and my brother would be like, okay, like game on.
Yeah.
You know? So,
and then she knew when you got home, you guys would be sleeping soon. Right?
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. Wear you down.
Mm-hmm.
So at what age did you realize, okay, I can, take me through kind of the recruiting process, but at what point did you say, okay, I think I can play basketball at a fairly high level here?
Mm-hmm. So I would say my recruiting process was probably a lot slower than others. I don't really remember when like I got my first like official offer. I probably started talking to like different schools, like low D1 when I was either gonna be a freshman or gonna be a sophomore. And I think that's kind of when I was like, oh, like I can actually do this. I think I started playing for Nortara in like my AU program when I was super young, and then I don't know why, but I took like couple years off, and then I came back, and then I was finally on their 15U EYBL team, and my head coach was Andy Berkbaum, and that's when I started getting like recruiting and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, like I can actually do this. Like you're like 15U, but like I still think like EYBL. I'm always gonna shout out EYBL. Yeah. They're the best competition. Like you can like play in and play against, and then I was like, oh wait, like I can actually like do this. Like this is what I want to do, and so that's when I started like getting like phone calls and stuff like that. A lot of the schools none of them were like a Power 4 school until, when was it? It was like this going into my senior year. So my last year of AU, that's when I finally started getting like Power 4 schools. But I mean, I did get injured my junior year of high school. And I think that could have probably helped me get recruited a little bit more. But unfortunately with my injury, that didn't necessarily happen. But then I played 17U EIBL for Nortara with Greg and Gerard, and they're like, I think they literally put their hearts on the line for me and reached out to whoever they could, especially Minnesota, and like promoted me as much as they could to like try, but it was a crazy process. I'm glad I'll never have to do it again, but I enjoyed it. And
so Don Plitzowite comes in and starts to recruit you. So when did you get that offer? And then was that an instant accept, or did you take some time and wait it out?
I don't remember when she came in necessarily, but I remember getting a call probably after like our Boo Williams tournament, which is like one of the first EYBL like showcases, and I got a call from like her coaching staff, and they're like, and it was like my first time like necessarily like getting reached out to by Minnesota, and I was like, what? Like, this is insane. I told my mom about it, and I was like, okay, you can't tell anyone, like, because I'm like I'm honestly like kind of reserved kind of person. So I was like, okay, don't tell anyone, because I don't know if like this is actually going to happen, but like Minnesota's reaching out to me. And she's like, oh my gosh. My mom was like over the top, and I was like, okay, stop talking. This conversation's over. And then like throughout my last senior year of AAU, they like gave me pointers of like what they needed to see, like if I genuinely wanted to offer from there. And, you know, I went through that like struggle phase where I was like, you kind of see other people getting offered from Minnesota necessarily, and you're like, okay, why is that not me yet? But I obviously knew I had so much I could work on and stuff like that. And then finally it was after Nike Nationals, so like our season basically was over. It was like July. I got offered from Minnesota, and I was like, what? And then I'm like stubborn, whatever. I was like, okay, well, they didn't offer me at the start. So like I definitely took my time. I took a lot of time, like just like distinguishing between like the schools I wanted to go to or the schools in my like top 3. Then I got to a top 3, and then that probably took me like over a month, like probably 2 months of like, I'm not talking to anyone. I'm just trying to figure out like the pros and cons of each of these schools and like what they have to offer me, and how I can contribute to their program, and like which coaches are like consistent, like which coaches are consistently reaching out to me, which coaches do I genuinely feel like they want me as a player. But also like I don't remember if it was my mom or dad. I think they both probably asked me this, but they're like, if you got hurt, could you still see yourself going to this school? Or if you got hurt, are these people still going to support you? And then it took me a while, but finally it was like a random Tuesday. I FaceTimed Coach P, and I was like, you're the easiest call I've made all day. And she was with like, I think she was with like Ariel and maybe Aaron. And she was like, okay, tell me more. And I was like, I'm committing to Minnesota. And she like got up and ran around her office, ran down the hallway, and that's when I knew I made the right choice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. That's a good story. This week or I guess just as we're taping this on Tuesday, I just got an email about an hour ago that said you made the all-academic, all-district team. How about that?
Nice.
Yeah. So how important is that to you too? I saw also in your bio it said you were 4.0 at Minnetonka. So you do some. Academics may be important as well. It looks like.
Yeah. Oh, a lot more than I like to admit. I don't necessarily like school, but school is still important to me, obviously. Yeah. I mean, they call you like a student athlete, so I wouldn't be able to play at Minnesota if I didn't attend school, unfortunately. So, yeah, I mean, I do like school. I'm most likely going to be an accounting major, so I love numbers. I'm super excited about that, just to see where that path may take me after basketball, of course. But, yeah, honestly, I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, so future numbers cruncher maybe,
For
right?
sure, yeah.
Well, I look, and the one thing about this team, you're the leading scorer, but it's not by much. I think you're over Grace by like 0.7, not even a full point. Yeah. But there's like 5 of you that are all at or near double-digit scoring. So that's probably part of the success this team's having, right? Is it, there's no one that, okay, we're going to shut you down. There's others who can score, right?
Yeah.
Which is nice. It can be a new hero each night.
Exactly. I think that's so important is our team is willing to celebrate that person each and every night. So like these past 2 games, I think especially we've celebrated Amaya because just of how incredible she's been playing and stuff like that. But I mean, against Illinois, we were celebrating Soph, and then like any night it can be someone's night, and then our team is like right there to like pick them up and tell them like, obviously, for me, no one's going to top Maya Battle as my favorite player, but maybe I'll like lie a little bit to them and be like, oh, yeah, you're my favorite player tonight. Tonight, though. Tomorrow, I'll go back to Maya.
Whoever hits the game winner Friday is going to be your favorite player, right?
Just for like 10 minutes.
Maybe it'll be you. Maybe it'll be you.
Maybe.
Well, it was fun watching over the weekend. Keep it going, man. This is kind of fun. Friday night, UCLA.
You.
Thanks for coming on, getting to know you a little bit. That was awesome. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Tori McKinney's our guest. It's episode 213.
My thanks to Gopher women's basketball standout Tori McKinney for joining me on the Go Gopher podcast this week. Sweet 16 game on Friday night in Sacramento against UCLA. What a big week. I hope you enjoyed hearing from her as much as I enjoyed chatting with her. Episode 213 is presented by Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're buying or selling a business, visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com. Cub is a proud supporter of Gopher Athletics for over 20 years and a proud sponsor of the Go Gopher Podcast with Mike Grimm. Cub, bigger savings on the items you love. Shop happy. Our thanks to Affinity Plus for providing a gift card for Tori's appearance this week. And OnX Hunt also sponsors our show, Happy Hunting from OnX Maps. Again, I'd invite you to listen to past podcasts, and please click that subscribe or follow button right now to the Go Gopher Podcast. It's free to follow, it's free to subscribe, and it's free to listen at any time. And please share the link to the podcast with others so they can subscribe and listen as well. And if you enjoyed the podcast, let us know that with some positive feedback on your social media channels. We'll talk again next week.
Know what happy is? Veggies. Crunchy, crispy, colorful, seasonal, aromatic, juicy veggies. Produce at its freshest. Cub produce. Best produce, period. Guaranteed to make you happy or will replace it. No questions asked. Because good produce makes veggie lovers happy. Just remember, fresh, happy. Stale, limp, and wilted, not happy. You want to make a veggie lover happy? Shop Cub for produce. And shop happy.